I'm just rolling through my day as usual. I come in the morning and everybody is talking that our building is going to be closed. What does that mean for me?
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the member's best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston, and we're going to be covering, these building closures that are going on right now. People are wondering what's going to happen for them if their building's closed, and for the people that are in a building and they're getting people pulled into it, when it means for them. This is happening everywhere right now, and I think it's kind of something we need to address as best as we can. So I guess Greg, I'm gonna throw you the first question. Let's just say, for instance, I'm just rolling through my day as usual. I come in the morning and everybody is talking that our building is going to be closed. What does that mean for me?
Well, what that means is that the company's planning on closing the building. They're obligated to meet with the local union and come up with a change of operations agreement. There's language in the National Article 38, which covers change of operations and how it's supposed to work. That language is superseded by your supplement. So if your supplement has change of operations language, that's the language it's going to apply. But what it basically means is the company's announced to us on the union side, they plan on doing something. It's up to us to come to an agreement as to how it's going to be done so that our members are protected. It's not really a negotiation about whether the company can do it or not, which a lot of members, I think, make that mistake that we can somehow stop that. We can't stop that. What the language is there to do is make sure that our members are protected and that they have as many options available to them as they can going forward.
And another thing that I see happen a lot is people are finding out that their buildings are closing, and then they go online and they start asking questions and trying to get response. I mean, is this the way to go about it? Should you take information that you find online? As we're saying this on a YouTube channel, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like if going on Facebook, Reddit, whatever, and asking these questions.
There are cases where that works out. If you have a respected source, like the Roswell Hub, for instance. But in this case, like I said, the change of operations agreement is going to be between the company and your local union or multiple local unions if there's more than one involved. And that is going to dictate the terms. Those are somewhat similar. As I said, there's language that outlines certain things about seniority and following the work in the master. But really, you're not going to get the correct answers unless you talk to your business agent, or even your principal officer. They should have a copy of that agreement or any agreement and should be able to give it to you and explain to you how things are going to work. Because again, there could be slight variations depending on your situation that someone else who's online, who may even have gone through a change of operations, is not necessarily going to know about. So if you want the right answers, you're going to have to go to your local and get that change of operations agreement.
Like in our local, we had multiple meetings. It wasn't just one. And the local was trying to do it the smoothest way possible. So we kept having meetings, pulling people in, talking about it, and try to make it the smoothest transition possible. I don't know if there is necessarily a way to make everybody happy in something like this. Seems like every time someone's going to get the short end of the stick. And it's unfortunately the way it is. So, Greg, do you have anything to add to the frustrations people feel during a change of ops?
Yeah, obviously it can be a very difficult situation. There are winners and losers for lack of a better term. If you live 2 miles from your current building and your job is being moved 50 miles away, obviously that's a major life change or a major life decision you have to make. And it's not something you want to walk into. On the other hand, if you have been commuting, for an hour each day to get to work, and your job is moving to a building close to where you live, you're excited. If you're in a crappy rundown building and you're going to be going to a new facility, that's an improvement. So There's winners and losers. It's unfortunate. Again, the company, it's their company, and they can run it in that respect as they see fit. And again, our job and duty is to protect our members and get them the best agreement possible to minimize the damage as much as we can. But there's nothing I can say or that anyone else can say to make things easier on people whose lives are going to be upended by a change of operations. And again, all we can do is try to make it as passable as possible, and do the best we can to make sure our members are protected.
So one of the things that we ran into with our local is that, like, or our supplement, so to speak, is that the seniority language is done by classification seniority, so that can cause a lot of issues. And I guess, Greg, I'm going to ask you this real quick: is like, because seniority is supplemental, that makes the variation even more than just like, let's say, hey, listen, we just there's change of ops. Every move that we do has a change of ops agreement. Now you throw, seniority into the mix. What does that mean?
It means things can get very complicated. In Article 38, there's a basic outline of how it's supposed to work. If your building is closing, you can follow the work, and your seniority is supposed to be dovetailed to the new building, which means you move into the slot based on your seniority date. If your building is partially closing, you have the option to follow the work or stay and bump into another route, again, based on your seniority. Unfortunately, or however you want to look at it, seniority policies and practices vary across the country. So in New England, we have full-time seniority across classifications and within the local. So if you move around, it doesn't really matter. You slide in wherever you slide in. There are places like in the South where you have classification seniority. So if you switch jobs, you move to the bottom. There are plenty of places that have building seniority, so that if you're moving to a new building, you may end up on the bottom or you may end up dovetailed, depending on what the agreement says between the local and the company. So again, it's something you have to ask your local leadership how it's going to work for your particular change of operations. It may not even be the same as it was 10 years ago when they had another one. It's an individual agreement. And obviously, it's a big concern for folks. Nobody wants to move to the bottom of the list. Obviously, seniority is what we have. But again, it depends on the structure and how seniority works in your area or in your local.
Absolutely. So if you're moving from, let's say you're in a building that doesn't have feeder positions and you are moving to a building that does, and you're all excited, be sure to look in to see how the seniority is phrased in your supplement. So, guys, we just kind of wanted to touch on this. There's a lot of questions going on, and people are asking us like what to expect and everything else. And unfortunately, the answer is kind of not exactly a clear one. We're just trying to push people in the right direction on how to do this. Greg, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just advise members, don't jump to conclusions. Don't follow the rumor mill. Don't ask the question online to someone who's in a completely different part of the country under a different supplement, a different set of rules. Talk to your business agent, talk to your local, find out the right answers for your particular situation. Again, sometimes it's going to be unfortunate, sometimes it's going to be fortunate, depending on the circumstance. It is what it is. The company is going to do this consolidation stuff as they see fit. And again, the best we can do is to try to make it as smooth and as fair to all of our members as possible. So just make sure you're getting the truth from the right people, I guess is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And that's the two things I've seen a lot of is the rumors and the frustration. And people love to spread the rumors. And the frustrations is like people lash out at the local and the union in general. But and I get the frustrations. I really do. It sucks to be doing something for 10, 15, 20 years where you're just going to the same place and all of a sudden it's uplifted and gone and you got to go an hour or 2 hours out, whatever. So I totally understand that. But right now, we're living in wacky times. So just I don't know what else to say on top of that. Just wanted to leave it at that. But yeah, it seems like whenever we do these videos, I always get hate comments. People pissed off. Like I was the one that did it. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. But I'm sure it's going to happen on this one. Anyways, listen, I got my lens fixed. So there's that. And Greg has a brand new camera. You can see his nose doesn't look smushed anymore from the camera. So Greg, you know, super cool. Do you want to talk about how you got this new new computer, or you want to leave that out?
We'll save that for a future episode, maybe, I think.
Okay, all right. That's a good way of putting it. There's a story behind this. That's why I was kind of alluding to it. There is no story to mine. I was stupid and I dropped my camera. All right. So, anyways, shout outs, Greg. You have any shout outs?
I'm going to give a shout out to all the members out there who are going through these change of operations. You know, again, it can be incredibly difficult to have sort of the rug pulled out from under your feet. All I can tell you is to hang in there, find out the truth, you know, make the decision that works for you and for your family. You know, if you're in a local that has more than UPS, there may be other options with different companies, different jobs. You know, you're still a Teamster, even if you can't continue to work at UPS. So it may not be the end of the world that you think it is, but you got to get the right information. You got to get it from the right people. So hang in there. We'll get through this like we always do. You know, we still make the money and we still get the work done. And sooner or later, that's going to prevail.
Anyways, that's all I got, everybody. Love ya, and I'll see you next time.